What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Got the Ball Ref. And today we're going to be discussing the breaking news of Gareth Southgate resigning from his England tenure. Again, I think this is going to be an interesting discussion between me and Mulch, because I know we have a bit of opposing views on our views on Southgate and what he's done. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, England, of course, unless you've been living under a rock, got to the final of Euro 2024. Unfortunately, we're pipped to the post by Spain 2-1. Southgate has come out in the past couple of days and resigned, and basically said, I've had enough, not for me. Next person needs to come in with his fresh ideas and do whatever they want to do. With that being said, Mulch, can we get your thoughts on Southgate's resignation?
To be honest, it came as a surprise. I wasn't expecting it. The fact that he's resigned today makes me think that even if we'd have won, he would have still resigned. I feel like that's the feeling there. But also, I think the fact that he's got a lot of stick this Euros has probably tipped him over the edge as well. For me personally, I'm not happy, but I am, if that makes sense. I feel like what he's done for England. Nobody can deny he's done ridiculously well. He's taken that team to obviously World Cup semis and 2 finals of the Euros. Cannot deny that he's done well. I think with him we were never gonna win anything. I think he just couldn't. He didn't have the tactical just know-how. It really showed against. Who was it against? It were Netherlands, actually. It showed a lot against the Netherlands of the fact of, and it was in the groups as well. One of the group games, I think it was, I can't even remember who it was, but they changed something. Both teams changed something, and it switched the game on its head. And Gareth Southgate did nothing. And I'm like, if somebody changes something, you need to switch to try and counteract that, because it's clearly not working now. But it was too reactive, everything that he did, I thought. But saying that, again, he's probably the second most successful manager. Well, he is the second most successful manager we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to give it to him. He has turned the team into a team. I think a lot of the time England was a bunch of individuals, but you could tell that there was a group. It was a group rather than just a group of individuals. It was actually a group and a team. So I've got to give it to him for that sort of thing. But personally, I think for us to move forward and win something, I think we need somebody else. Who that is, I don't know yet, because I'm not going to lie, I would like Klopp. I don't think it'll happen, but it is what it is. But it's going to be interesting now to see who they go, like how quick they go and get someone. If they go quick, or whether they just wait it out for a little bit, I don't know. But I don't know what you think of South. I'm pretty sure the way you think of Southgate is a little different from myself. But
I mean, I get the criticisms of his tactical, reactionary way of doing things. I think I'll start from where you started at, in that I totally 100% agree that I think, had made his mind up either before the tournament or during the tournament that this was it for him.
Yeah.
And he was always very vocal in his press conferences about outstaying his welcome. And he's probably felt that with the amount of noise that was coming out from fans and from press and media, that it was probably the right time to go, because another 2 years might just tip it over the edge and go too far. I mean, I think some of it was going too far already, but I think if it had gone on for another 2 years, it probably would have tipped it over the edge for him. And no one, whether you're a good manager or a bad manager, should get the amount of stick that an England manager typically gets, in my opinion. Yes, you can have a bad performance, you can have bad games or whatever, but I think some of the criticism that gets leveled at him gets a bit personal, and I don't know why we as a fan base and as media get so personal about things. Like, it's, I understand it's your country, it's a source of national pride. I get there is a lot of emotion that goes into that, But Southgate isn't going into these games thinking, right, I'm going to play defensively to rile these people up. He's thinking, he's bringing an approach in to try and win us the game. He thinks that that's the best way to go. And to be fair, the results don't lie. He's, like you said, he's the second most successful manager. If he'd won on Sunday or had won in 2021 in either of those finals, he would be the most successful manager England has ever had. He was a penalty shootout away from being the most successful England manager. If he'd made a couple of subs differently, maybe in extra time for that Italian final, I think maybe we probably would have won that game. If we'd maybe just gone for it a little bit more, we probably would have won it. But again, that's kind of the course of things with Gareth in his tenure, that he probably needed to take the handbrake off a little bit more and just trust the players going forward that they were going to do things.
Yeah.
And be as creative as they usually are for the league. In terms of when I saw the news, I don't think sad is the way I would describe it. I was like, I think I was just sad it was over and it sort of had gone out the way it had. Like if he'd won the trophy on Sunday and then he'd gone, I'd have been like, what a great way to go. You know what I mean? Like even regardless of the performances we've had in this tournament, regardless of whatever, he can walk away saying, I'm the only manager since 1966 to win us a trophy.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's the only manager to get us to a final, never mind two of them. So like that on its own is achievement enough. And I was listening to The Rest is Football yesterday, and I think Shearer put it best in that he's turned England from a laughingstock to a contender, and he's turned England from being not cared about in the public perspective to everybody wants England. Everyone is now in that sort of that fight together to get England over the line and wants England to do well. Whilst 2016, we'd just lost to Iceland. Everyone was like, "What are we doing here?"
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just think it's just a shame that it's ended. For me, it's a shame it's ended the way it has, because it would have been great for him to get that trophy, but unfortunately, we just couldn't get it over the line. But yeah, I do think the way the media's gone on a little bit, I think through this tournament has been a bit much. I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, I feel like there's this weird arrogance that English media has. And I know we've got an incredibly talented squad, and I know we have a brilliant squad. But other teams have had brilliant squads in the past and not won trophies.
Yeah.
So why does England have this God-given right to be in a semi-final every time? Like, we went from 1990 until 2018, a 28-year period, we never reached a semi-final as England.
Yeah.
And I just don't get this arrogance is the best word for it for me, that we... Like, it's almost like when it's how I feel like Real Madrid feel when they're in the Champions League. It's like Real Madrid expect to be in the semi-finals of the Champions League at least. If you don't get to the semi-finals of Real Madrid, you're probably losing your job.
Yeah.
Like, even Zinedine Zidane, a club legend, struggled to get them one season, and he was on the verge of getting sacked. Ancelotti had questions over him. And it's like, why Real Madrid do it year in, year out? England hadn't done it for 28 years.
Yeah.
Like that's my thing. I mean, what do you think on that particular thing in terms of the so-called English arrogance?
I can't remember who. Were it Neville that was talking about it, or Carragher maybe, and he was saying England we've won one trophy. We're not like Germany on that, that have known for winning. England have only ever won one trophy. Like realistically, we shouldn't be expecting to win every time. I feel like it's kind of relates to. I don't know what your opinion on this would be, but the fact that a lot of players that come from England, obviously the thing is English tax, and they get inflated because they're English. So I wonder if it's sort of a mentality thing on that side. English players go for extra, even if they're maybe not quite as good as some players, just because they're English. Do you think that has like an effect on it as well? Like, because for me, potentially that does, because then you've got 100 million players that are playing for a team, and then you're like, well, realistically, if they're costing that much money, they should be performing better and they should be winning things because they're worth that much money. Whereas, another country players go for a hell of a lot less. Like for example, Nico Williams has a release clause of 47 million.
Mm-hmm.
He's worth probably double that in today's
Yeah.
market.
Mm-hmm.
But his release clause is way lower. And is that because he's Spanish? Would an English player have? Would he be worth 100 million? Is he like 100 million? Would he go for if he was
Yeah.
English? That sort of mentality. Potentially has an effect on it.
I get your point. I do see the point. I think I would maybe tilt it a little bit more towards it being the Premier League essence or
Right,
the
okay.
Premier League's quality. Because the saying that it always makes me laugh when people say the Premier League's the best league in the world and this, that, and the other. I think there's that arrogance of having the best league in Europe / the world.
Yeah.
Has because of the Premier League's obviously it's over 30 years old now. I think because of that sort of establishment of us becoming the best league in the world or supposedly the best league in the world, most competitive, everyone in the country seems to think that immediately means we should be the best country to play football.
Yeah.
But I mean, I always remember commentators would talk about it during the 2000s of we have too many foreign players coming in and that's what ruins England's chances. And it's like, no, it's just those players are better and they play better as a team than we do.
Yep.
And that is why we were never able to go far in tournaments. And for me, Gareth changed that mentality from 2016 onwards. When he came in, he turned it into it's about the end result. It's not about someone scoring a goal. It's not about someone getting to this many caps. It's not about a bunch of Man United players or a bunch of Liverpool players or Chelsea players or Arsenal players or whatever you want, all having their own little cliques. It's about England. It's not about anything else that's going on around.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what he did. I think he did. He has done that, and as I said about the whole, it's a group now, not a group of individuals, which is what obviously it seemed like previously.
Mm-hmm.
Going back on the arrogance stuff, I feel like though realistically, well, it sounds crazy because I feel as well that we should win trophies because of the squad and how good of a squad we have. Mm-hmm. So I feel like we should be winning trophies, even though we've never won one in like a lot of people's lifetimes that I even know.
Mm-hmm.
Like my lifetime, my dad's lifetime, we've never won a trophy.
Yeah.
But I feel like we should be winning these trophies now, especially with the squad we've got. Again, it might be just overhype from the media and all that sort of stuff on the players, but I don't know. It's just it is a really weird thing when you think about the fact that we as a nation think that and it's coming home obviously is a big thing. When realistically it's never come home. Only
since
once.
we've sung that song.
Yeah. So I mean, once. So
I think that if we roll it back again to 2016, there was no expectation at that point.
Yeah.
I think from about 2006 World Cup onwards, when we didn't qualify for Euro 2008, I think basically from then, fans' expectations, realistic fans and normal fans, there's no expectation on England actually winning a tournament.
Yeah.
Everyone was thinking, let's just try and get as far into the tournament as possible and see if something happens. That was always the expectation. 2016 happened and expectations at an all-time low. Southgate then comes in, and with what he's done the past 3-4 tournaments, he's changed that expectation back to what it was.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
And now, I think Southgate has been the rejuvenation of England. He's rejuvenated England and that expectancy that wasn't there before. And now, obviously, well, it definitely is now, but I think the perception coming out of this tournament was whoever this next guy is or whatever comes next, whether it's Southgate or someone else, the expectancy now is to keep reaching that level.
Yeah.
And I think
yeah.
whoever it is God knows at this point, but whoever knows, whoever it is that comes in is now going to be managing to that expectation, and that doesn't happen without Southgate.
Yeah,
I think Southgate
yeah,
has been the component of that.
yeah, yeah. I think you're right. I think he's done it. Like again, for me personally, I think how do I put this? I just don't think with him we'd have ever won anything because I just don't think tactically had it there.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, he's got to two finals, fair enough. But as much as people probably will be like, oh yeah, but we scored blah blah blah, we were lucky to get to this final. Bar one bit of absolute excellence by Bellingham, we were literally 10 seconds away from losing against Slovenia. Slovenia?
Mm-hmm.
Slovakia?
Yeah, yeah, it was.
Slovenia. It was Slovenia. So, bar that one bit of excellence to put us into extra time, Slovenia had absolutely rinsed their energy was gone, and that's why I think we came out in extra time and just scored, and then that was it.
Mm-hmm.
But bar that, we were gone and out before even reaching a quarter final.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he got very lucky this tournament. I think England as a whole got lucky in this tournament to get to where we were. But at the end of the day, that's what teams do. Good teams do that. They win games that they shouldn't win, which is a sign of a good side.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing as well, which I noticed in the final, and I noticed obviously at 2021, he changed his tactic from a 5 at the back to 4 at the back in 2021 after we'd scored, and then obviously we just got absolutely rinsed by Italy. He then changed the tactic in this final to go 4 at the back again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why? 5 at the back was working so well for us. We look so much better with it. It works. It seemed to just work for us. Why change that? I don't understand. And that's why I think tactically we need somebody who sort of understand. I just don't think he understands the tactical side of it as much as other managers. Also, our record against top 10 teams is absolutely awful. We play against the top 10 countries in the world. I think we've won 3 out of 12, I think.
But England, outside of Southgate, have always done badly against the big teams.
Yeah. And I think that's where we need to change. And I don't think Southgate's going to change that. That's where we need to change to start winning tournaments. That I think that is because you're always going to reach a top 10 team in the final more than likely, aren't you?
Oh yeah. Like you're going to play a big team in the final.
That's Spain a top 10 team.
I mean, realistically, if we're being honest,
yes,
but
they are.
But look at the run Spain had though. They beat Croatia and Italy.
Yeah.
France, Germany.
Yeah, they played big teams.
They've played big teams every single game, and
right.
I don't think there was a game apart from Germany where maybe I questioned whether they would get through.
Yeah.
I thought every single knockout round, every single group game, I was thinking they're probably going to win this, and they did every time. So,
yeah.
And to be fair, it's probably, if you look at the quality of the teams and the level of teams they played, I would argue it's probably one of the greatest international tournament runs you've seen.
Yeah, I think they were brilliant. I think they deserved to win. To be honest, they were best
team
100%. Team in the tournament by far. Yeah. And yeah, I think we had a pretty easy run. To be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I would argue the quarterfinal and semi-final wasn't that easy. Even if we were playing well, because Switzerland are a good side. Netherlands could just show up one day and just be all right. I mean, I know Netherlands aren't that great, but
yeah.
Switzerland, I think, have the potential to be the next sort of Croatia, who are getting to a couple of
like doing stuff. Yeah.
Getting to maybe a third, like getting to their first semi-final in the next couple of tournaments or whatever. But yeah, I just think in terms of getting on the right side of the draws and stuff, yes, there's a bit of luck there, but the thing is, we could have had that with other managers. I think we could have had that with other managers who we've had in the past, like your Hodgsons, Capellos, Svens. If we'd had, I don't think we'd get through those draws with those guys, because I just don't think,
potentially not. Yeah,
because I saw England in the 2006 World Cup struggle to beat Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah. I think under Southgate we would anyway, personally.
I don't I I don't think we would have played as badly as we did at times under. It's been bad, don't get me wrong, but I
Yeah.
remember Capello
Yeah,
in
yeah.
2010, and I remember Sven in 2006, and that was pretty bad at times. Like,
Yeah, I know what you
and
mean.
it's definitely the worst we've played under Southgate. I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying, and again, my side of being sort of supportive of Southgate isn't saying that he was perfect. Tactically he got it wrong quite a few times and in big moments as well.
Yep.
But I also think that at the end of the day, he went from being we need to play well, we need to just get the result, and we just found a way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was always my argument for him. And people would say, but he didn't win the tournament. It's like no, but we were we were close to doing it, and we've never been close to doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to
And I
take
get,
that positive.
but yeah, you do have to take that positive in that we got the result. And yes, I understand that people are going to go, well, he didn't win the trophy though. Yes, but there are plenty of teams that get to finals and don't win trophies. Klopp didn't win a trophy with Liverpool for the first four finals,
Yeah. Yeah.
and people still regard Klopp as a great guy, and he won every single trophy he could win with Liverpool, and that's the difference between Klopp and Southgate is that Klopp won trophies, Southgate hasn't. But I don't think we've seen the end of Southgate personally. I think not at England. I mean, as in, I think he'll be at a club somewhere
Yeah,
in the
he's
next
gonna
season
do.
or two.
He's gonna do. I think. I think he'll have a rest and then I think he'll
So
go
yeah,
back into management.
so
But
yeah,
yeah, I'm a bit. I, as you said, you got to take the positive side of it that he's done that, and just a England fan in general, I can't deny that what he's done is, it is good what he's done. But for
hmm
me personally, I don't think we'd ever win anything with him. I think he always would
hmm
sort of fall at that final hurdle.
yeah,
I just don't think he knows how to win. If you know what I mean, it's sort of
yeah.
a
No,
weird
it's a
thing to
fair
say,
it's a
but
fair argument. I don't. Again, I don't disagree with anything that you're saying, Mulch. My issue comes from the so-called media and pundits who are putting their opinions out there and are sticking the knife in when they've been involved in management or been involved in football and haven't done nearly as much as he has,
yeah,
and as they talk as if they know it. I
yeah.
mean, there was one pundit that was talking about Phil Foden as if he'd. I think it was during the Switzerland game because he was getting played
Oh,
at
I
number
remember
10,
that. Yeah,
and he was going, "Oh, look at Phil Foden playing at number 10 where he's supposed to play," and I'm like, he doesn't play number 10 at City.
nah, it's right wing, isn't it?
He
City,
plays
perfect.
left or right. He doesn't play through the middle.
Yeah,
And he was talking as if Foden had controlled the game and scored a couple of goals or got an assist, and I was like, it's 0-0.
yeah,
Like what we're
exactly.
talking about.
Yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. I
And
think
then
they got
now,
told off, and that's why they were saying that. But
yeah. But now I think now. But the thing that annoys me is that all the people come saying, "Oh, he did a great job." It's like, well, where was this?
yeah,
We could have done with this, and the team not having everyone on top of them. But anyway, that's English press for you.
yep, yep.
So that being said, before we wrap it up and say farewell on this one, do you have a pick for who you? I know you said Klopp before would be the perfect choice, but who do you think would be next?
So I actually predicted this before the tournament even happened.
Mm-hmm. Mystic Mulch back
Yeah,
with his
exactly. So
with his
I
ball.
actually I was speaking to a guy, my boss at work, 'cause he's a big football fan and stuff. So I says to him before even the tournament, I was like, Graham Potter has not taken a managerial job because he's waiting for the England job, and I think I think he's favourite at the moment to take over anyway. But I think
Yeah.
that's why he's not accepted any other, because he's been approached. I'm 100% sure he'll have been approached by multiple teams like Sunderland and a few other teams who needed managers.
Mm.
And I think he's waiting for that England job. So I think he'll go for it. Who I would want that maybe really, obviously, I said Klopp, but I don't think that'll ever happen. The one that I've always said would be a good England sort of match would be Eddie Howe.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like Eddie Howe as manager. I think he
Yeah.
would do a good job. I think he's shown how good he is as a manager at Newcastle and what he can do, and he plays good football. And I just think with a better side like England's side have, I think he could be very, very good as manager and successful. Whether that happens or not, I mean, I'm not sure because they'd have to probably pay out his clause in his contract and all that sort of stuff. But
I
don't
wouldn't
know.
rule. I think those are the two. I think if it comes down
Yep.
to the choice, I think it's either. I think the number one choice is Howe.
Yep.
And then if they can't get Howe, they get Potter.
Okay.
I think that's what they go with. It wouldn't totally surprise me if they go left field and they maybe get a foreign manager in, because I think that there are more names out there now in terms of like, and I think they're more likely to go for not necessarily a big name, but maybe someone who's been in a national setup with other teams before
Okay.
and can maybe go that way. I haven't got a specific name to mind, but I wouldn't rule out Howe. I would have a couple of days ago, but since it's been announced that Staveley and her husband are now leaving Newcastle, and I think they were big proprietors of Howe and big supporters of him, and I just wonder with Ashraf going and them going, again purely speculation on my point, but with them going, does that then give Howe maybe a thought of maybe I should go to England? Maybe this is my time to go as well.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
This is interesting, by the way. I've just got the odds up for the next England manager. Eddie Howe is now favourite.
Well,
and then it's Potter. And Jurgen Klopp's odds have dropped. I don't think it'll happen, but... what do you think of this one? Lee Carsley. Under 21's manager.
I mean, they've done it before.
Southgate.
Like that's what they did with Southgate.
Yeah.
Lee Carsley might get given it interim.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Because that's what they did with Southgate. See how
Poch
he does.
As well. I don't think that.
See.
I don't.
No. I don't see that happening. No.
No, me neither.
But anyway, we'll leave it there for that one, folks, and we'll obviously have a video up as soon as the new England manager's announced. So no one will look. It'll probably come tomorrow.
Woo!
So yeah, as always, folks, if you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you're new here, feel free to check out a previous podcast that we've done. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.